Thank you, President Carmen. I enjoyed the presentation. I learned something that I didn't know, and that's always good. Today's presentation, without any further ado, I'm going to start the presentation right now. And we are talking about a storm, a housing storm that is brewing that I want to bring your attention to. And this is not the storm that we are facing. I'm not talking about interest rates. I'm not talking about FOMC decision making today on Federal Reserve Board. I'm not even talking about 2008 like financial crisis or the dot-com crisis in 1991 or so. We as realtors are resilient. We always come out of these kind of storms, the financial storms, with a lot more strength. Our industry is more prepared, and we do well afterwards. Indeed, what I'm referring to is a storm that is going to be caused by a trifecta of bad legislative ballots and Senate bills, and indeed about a couple of them. By the initiative, I am talking about the Justice for Renters Act initiative. Catchy name, catchy title, but that has been approved by Attorney General, and it may very well be on the ballot next year. I am also referring to Senate Bill 466 and Senate Bill 567. The trifecta effect of these bad, deleterious initiatives and bills will be humongous on our industry. And now I want to take a few minutes and discuss with you what each one of these are. But before even getting there, I want you to know that all three of these have to do with the California housing law called Costa-Hawkins. Basically, in 1995, the California Association of Realtors sponsored a bill, Costa-Hawkins bill, that stated very simply that if any property is built after 1995, the property is not subject to jurisdictional rent control or a city rent control that may exist, and that at any given time, if a unit is becoming vacant, then the housing provider can adjust the rent to market rents. And most importantly, folks, that condominiums and single family homes are not subject to rent control ordinances that exist in a jurisdiction or in a city. So what is basically the initiative, the Justice for Renters Act initiative? This cleared title and summary, as I said, it is sponsored by AIDS Healthcare Foundation, a formidable adversary when it comes to housing issues that are important to all Californians. If you remember, they also sponsored Prop 20 and Prop 10 back a couple of 2 or 3 years ago that both of them were defeated. Basically, they need to collect somewhere close to about 546,000 signatures for it to be, for this initiative to be qualified for the ballot in 2024. And what it does, it basically guts the Costa-Hawkins California housing law totally. So in other words, it only leaves Costa-Hawkins by its shell and the name. Nothing else will be there. And the importance of this is that it now affects, if this thing passes, it now affects the condominiums and single family homes. So in other words, if I own a home that I consider for my retirement to leave and go out and live in a condominium or closer to my kids, and if I want to rent that house, now that house is subject to whatever rent control that exists in the city of Glendale. Plus, I cannot make it rent to market once it's rented and the tenant has left the property. That will affect my and thousands of people like my retirement with this act. So it's important for you to be cognizant of that and be aware of that. Senate Bill 466, it basically removes all the rights of housing providers to establish the rental rate. Again, it would defer everything to the municipality. It would defer everything to the city in order for them to say how much rent you can charge and how much rent you can increase. It also states that once this bill, this proposed bill, if it passes, it will affect everything below 15 years of the passage date. In other words, certificate of occupancy, if you don't have it by, say, after the date that it passes, it doesn't matter if you're a single family home or a multi-family home, you're subject to jurisdictional rent control. And that's a very, very deleterious, dangerous proposition for the housing space, so to say. Let's talk about Senate Bill 567 by Senator Durazo. It is dubbed Homelessness Prevention Act. Again, another catchy name. Ira will tell you that we've had so many initiatives on homelessness to the tune of $20 billion. And yet, California has got the most homeless population in the nation. Having said that, what this bill attempts to do is to take AB or Assembly Bill 1482, remember the state rent control, 5% plus 5% inflation, no more than 10%, and reduce it to 5% flat. So what that means is damn be the housing provider expenses, damn be the electrical bills that we are getting that is being increased on daily basis, damn be the gas bills that we pay that has doubled, if not tripled, in the past 6 or 7 months. That's it. You are only limited to 5% increase on your rental, be it a home or a multi-family. So what are we supposed to do? How are we going to be able to fight against these bills and this initiative, this one initiative, right? Well, there is actually sun coming out after the storm, to use a metaphor. Participate. In other words, be aware of what is going on. Talk to your friends, talk to your colleagues, encourage them to get involved with Realtor Action Fund and Realtor Party. Give to your Realtor Action Fund, Realtor Party generously, because those are the resources that we use to fight bills like this. Do respond to our red alerts when they come out, and do encourage your colleagues, your families, your friends to respond to them the same. And next time when you come across your legislator, being the Senator Portantino or Assembly Member Friedman, do tell them that you're against these two Senate bills. Of course, this has to clear the Senate before it goes to the Assembly, but it never hurts for an Assembly member to be prepared and at least have heard about what's coming up that we are totally very concerned about, and that we will do anything in our power legislatively to fight them. With that, President Carmen, that concludes my short presentation. I appreciate the time allotted to me.
Thank you, Greg. As always, really appreciate it. A lot of good information here. People, you need to get involved, because if we don't get involved, these laws will pass and will have lasting effects in all of our lives. You know, it will affect the lives of our children, our clients, ourselves, everybody. So let's get involved.